everybody. Welcome to, I think, episode 6, Ball Don't Lie Pod. Appreciate y'all tuning in. How are we doing on this very fine Tuesday? Been thinking about adding music to the intro. I might do that tomorrow. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. We got a fun show today. 16 days until the NFL season starts. Can't wait for it. Cannot wait for it. How we doing? Let me shout out everybody. First one in here, Anakin Sky Ogre. Appreciate you. The Amik Freak. My G. Shift God. Appreciate you, brother. Shaquille Oatmeal. No worries, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. Alex. Coach Walk. Derek. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Wait a few minutes. Let everyone get in here. Today's episode, we are ranking every offense in football. There should be a good one. Should be a good one. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Alrighty. How we doing? How are we doing? This is a fun episode. Took me a while to rank all these guys, but I like it. Should be fun. Okay. Fellas. This thing's been hilarious. Shout out to the 5 of you in here. Bit low on viewers today. It's all good. All right. Any NFL news today that we want to talk about first before we... Yeah, did y'all see the Tua thing? Him talking about what Brian Flores was saying to him? Damn. That's kind of rough. Looks like Ayuk will be staying with the Niners, which, damn it, man. So disappointing. So disappointing, man. I really thought he was out of there. Gaining viewers, let's go. Who are the 6 people in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait another minute or two, let people join. How are we doing, people? You guys are the best. Been thinking certain days the show might be a bit shorter. I'm thinking might be an hour some days. Been trying to make some adjustments because an hour and a half is a long time. An hour and a half is a long damn time. And it's late as hell for some of you, so. Alright. Love it. So, today's going to be a fun one. We are ranking every single offense in football. This should be good. 30 more seconds and then we will get going. Still can't tell which one of these people is the fake one because it doesn't have the red dot. They both have the red dot on my screen, which is a shame. But okay. Let's get going. Today. We are ranking every single offense in football. Should be a good one. This should be a good one. Give me a second, fellas. This whole Anakin thing is ridiculous. All right, let's do this. It's another tier list that we're doing this off of. Ranking every offense in football. Again, a few of these could be interchangeable, but I'm pretty happy with the list. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, we are ranking every single offense in the NFL today. And I think we'll just get going here. Getting right into it. Number 32. I think the worst offense in football this year will be, fortunately, the New England Patriots, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Patriots, last year their offense was really egregious. They were near the bottom of the league. They were 31st. They were dead last, joint dead last in points scored, of 30th in, yards. And when you look at their personnel, Jacoby Brissett, probably going to be a starter right away. Not a huge fan of that. I think Drake May has good potential, but I think rookie quarterback with not a lot of talent around him, it's not going to be too pretty. Their offensive line has question marks. Their wide receivers have nice potential. Like I think Jalen Polk and Javon Baker have nice potential, but they don't really have a true one. Ramondre Stevenson's okay, but I just think this offense is going to be really bad. I think there's not one point on the offense that makes me go, "Ooh, okay, that could be all right." Like, I mean, David Andrews is a nice center, but the rest of it's just bleak. But I mean, with Drake May, it could get better as time goes on, but I think for now that they're not going to be good. And yes, you are correct. Next up, Carolina. Thought about putting them one spot higher, but I need to see it a little bit. Last year they were just the worst offense in the NFL. Bryce Young, their quarterback, had 11 touchdown passes. Their offensive line last year was a mess. I do like the signing of Robert Hunt. They did pay him a ton of money. I like the addition of Xavier Legette. Jonathan Brooks is an okay running back. Chuba Hubbard. But the quarterback still needs to show me. I do think Dave Canales might improve this offense a little bit, but Adam Thielen's getting older. Deontay Johnson's a solid wide receiver, but I still think their offensive line will struggle a lot, and the Panthers in general last year, their offense was easily the worst in football. Bryce Young, like I said, still has a lot to prove, and I think they're going to struggle mightily again this year. Almost was going to be 31, the New York Giants. Their offense was bad last year, even with Saquon Barkley, and they lost him. I don't like Daniel Jones. Devin Singletary's okay. He's not Saquon. I mean, Malik Neighbors and Andrew Thomas are the only two reasons to get excited. Their offensive line is horrible. Evan Neal is probably the worst offensive lineman I've ever seen. Yeah, their offensive line out of Thomas isn't great. Daniel Bellinger is all right. You got Darius Slayton, but there's just nothing there except for I think Malik Neighbors is going to be a stud, and I think Andrew Thomas is a very good left tackle. But overall, with Daniel Jones, no running game, not a great O-line, not great weapons outside of Malik. You could argue they're the worst or behind the Panthers, but I'm going to put them at 30th right now. 29th, Denver Broncos. Again, I think it's going to be rough. I think Bo Nix looks solid in preseason. He looks a little better than I thought he would be this early. So I don't mind that. I think Javonte Williams might have an okay year this year. Courtland Sutton's a nice wide receiver. Their offensive line is definitely way better than the other three teams. Quinn, I don't know how to say his last name, Mainers just got paid. He was one of the better guards in the league last year. Mike McGlinchey and Garrett Bowles is a good Garrett Bowles. God, that was bad. Garrett Bowles is a nice left tackle. But then again, I just don't see the firepower on this offense. Don't see a good wide receiver too. Like, they'll be all right. They'll be solid, but Bo Nix still rookie quarterback. I have question marks. Denver are right around 29 for me. Number 28, The Las Vegas Raiders, again, just outside of Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers, I don't love it. Gardner Minshew's fine, right? He's a fine quarterback. They lost Josh Jacobs. Zamir White's decent. Their wide receiver room outside of Devontae Adams is extremely bleak. Their O-line doesn't jump out at anybody. Damn you. Last year they were near the bottom of the league in both, yards and points. They were bottom 10 in both. So, yeah, I think, Devontae Adams is great, but you double team him. Where's the ball going after that? You know what I mean? And I think they'll be in the market for a quarterback next year. I think the Raiders' offense is pretty mid, so I'm putting them at 28. Number 27, the New Orleans Saints. Again, bad offensive line last year. I do like the Fuaga draft pick, but it's not going to solve all their problems. I think Derek Carr isn't going to have a great year. Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams are only getting older. Chris Olave is really solid. Aside from that, there's not much there. I'm not a huge fan of their play calling either. And I just think their offense will be pretty robotic. It's not going to be good. I think Derek Carr is middle of the pack. Again, like I said, Kamara older. They don't really have anybody aside from Olave. Their offensive line damn near got Derek Carr killed last year. I'm not high on the Saints in general right now. And I think that their offense is not going to be – I don't think it's going to be a good offense this year. Number 26, Tennessee Titans. Now, this could change depending on how Will Levis plays. I do think that this could change depending on how Will Levis plays. Tony Pollard's a bit of a downgrade from Derrick Henry. Their receiving core looks good on paper, but Calvin Ridley, I think he's good, but he didn't have a Calvin Ridley year last year. DeAndre Hopkins is great. He's getting older as well. Tyler Boyd's solid. I do like the draft pick of J.C. Latham. And they added Lloyd Cushenberry. I think this Tennessee Titans offense definitely has potential, but need to see it a bit more from the quarterback. They don't have a tight end, really. Tony Pollard's definitely not the Tony Pollard of 2021, And I think the Titans definitely could get higher. Like I said, if Will Levis pans out, J.C. Latham ends up being a good tackle. They've got a nice left side of their offensive line, but last year the offensive line was bad. The quarterback play was fine from Will Levis, and if he takes a jump, they could be a little bit higher. But right now, I'm putting them 26. 25, Washington Commanders. I thought about putting them a bit higher. I love Jaden Daniels. Don't know if I love their running backs. Brian Robinson's solid. Austin Eckler is getting a little older. I do love their receiving core. I think Terry McLaurin's one of the more underrated wide receivers in football, and I'm excited to see what he looks like with a real solid quarterback. I think Jahan Dotson's all right. Luke McCaffrey, I really liked coming out of the draft. I think he's going to be a nice slot guy for him. Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, nice tight end room. Their offensive line still gives me a lot of cause for pause. So they had drafted Brandon Coleman out of TCU, who I think was nice. And I do think Jaden Daniels will keep that team in a lot of games, but I still think they're a bottom 10 offense until proven otherwise. Still don't love the offensive line. I think Jaden Daniels will make up for that offensive line. I definitely think they'll be one of the more fun offenses to watch, but as of right now, I'm putting them at 25. 24, Pittsburgh Steelers. I really didn't like putting the Steelers above the Commanders simply because of quarterback play. But I think Pittsburgh, as long as Russell Wilson or Justin Fields plays average, I think their offense should be fine. I think Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris are one of the better 1-2 punches at running back. George Pickens, I think, is really good, although he does have some attitude concerns, but as a player, he's great. Roman Wilson was a nice pick coming out of the draft. Pat Freiermuth, a good tight end. They completely revamped their offensive line in the draft, drafting Troy Fautanu, Zach Frazier, and Mason McCormick. But again, last year, their offense was extremely robotic, and I know they had Kenny Pickett, but I don't think Russell Wilson's a lot better than Kenny Pickett, nor is Justin Fields. And I think they're fine. They won't be great to watch, but I think they've got enough talent to be at around 24. 23, very similar. Cleveland Browns. Again, similar to Pittsburgh, I have massive concerns about their quarterback, Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's going to be good. Nick Chubb is elite, but he is coming off a big injury, so you do need to think about that. Amari Cooper is an elite wide receiver, but they threw a bunch of money at Jerry Jeudy, who's never been great. David Njoku's a nice tight end. They have a nice old line. Like, I think similar to Pittsburgh, this offense should be a lot better, but their quarterback play is just holding them back. I think Deshaun Watson's a bottom 10 quarterback in football. And if he returns to anything like 2020 Deshaun Watson, I could easily see them being a little bit higher. But as of right now, quarterback play matters so much for good offense. So I'm putting them 23. 22, Minnesota Vikings. I like what the Vikings have on offense. It's similar, again, to the last two, aside from quarterback. I think Sam Darnold, he'll be a serviceable quarterback. And Aaron Jones was really good last year when he was healthy. Love their receiving core. Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in football. Jordan Addison, if he's there, will be a great wide receiver too. TJ Hawkinson, when he comes back, is a top 6 tight end in the NFL. Christian Darrisaw is one of the top tackles in the NFL. So I like their offensive personnel, but again, they got, Sam Darnold. So I think that knocks them down quite a lot. I think that if they had even, like I said, Kirk Cousins, if they had a better quarterback similar to the Browns, Steelers, I think they'd be up there a little bit more. But I think as of right now, they're 22, nothing special. 21, the Los Angeles Chargers. They could definitely be higher simply because of Justin Herbert. Love Justin Herbert, love the O-line draft picks. I like, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, one of the best tackle combos. I don't like a lot aside from that. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, they're fine. They're not Austin Eckler. Lad McConkey will be a nice player. Quentin Johnston's looking like a bust. DJ Chark's getting older. Joshua Palmer's a nice wide receiver. Like, I think this offense definitely has pieces. And I think with Jim Harbaugh, it definitely could get better. And they could get, this was a tough offense to rank simply because, like, they're again, tackles and quarterbacks. The only thing I really like about that, I think their quarterback play elevates them above the rest of these teams. But they weren't a great offense last year, even with Justin Herbert. And I think as of right now, they're around middle of the pack right now. But they could be solid. 20, Arizona Cardinals. Again, they're a fun offense. They're a really fun offense. I don't love their O-line. I think Paris Johnson's going to be a franchise left tackle. Don't love their offensive line aside from that, but Kyler Murray, I think it'll be a bounce back year for him. James Conner had a sneaky good year last year. He still looks really solid. Marvin Harrison has potential to be a top 10 wide receiver in football this year even. I like Michael Wilson as a wide receiver too. Trey McBride's a promising young tight end. Like, this offense is definitely going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be a fun to watch offense. However, haven't seen Kyler Murray play elite in a while. James Conner is getting a little older. And their offensive line, to me, still brings question marks. So I think Arizona's going to be a fun offense. They're right around 20 for me. 19, Jacksonville Jaguars. Feels like they should be a lot higher than this, but, Trevor Lawrence, we think he's always going to take the next step. And it just doesn't seem to quite happen. Travis Etienne's a good running back. You lose Calvin Ridley, your replacement Gabe Davis. I don't think that's an upgrade. Christian Kirk is nice. Brian Thomas Jr. is one of the better rookie wide receivers this year. Evan Ingram's a really good tight end. But their offensive line last year struggled massively, and they didn't address that early enough, in my opinion. And their offense last year down the stretch did not look great. So I think they're right around 19th. I think Trevor Lawrence will be good. I do like their wide receivers, but I have a lot of questions. There's more questions than answers about the Jags offense for me right now. So I'm going to put them at number 19. How's the Wi-Fi doing, by the way? 18, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers are a fun team. They're a fun team to, follow. Love Baker Mayfield. Rashad White's a nice running back. They've got one of the best 1-2 punches wide receiver. I think Mike Evans is easily one of the most underrated wide receivers we've got currently in the NFL. Dude puts up 1,000 yards in his sleep. Chris Godwin's still good. Cade Otton's a nice tight end. Tristan Wirfs is a top 5 tackle in the NFL. Graham Barton, I like that draft pick a lot. Like, Bucks are going to be a fun offense to watch this year. Again, like Baker a lot. I do hope that they will be able to run the ball better. I think Graham Barton might help with that. So I think the Bucks offense will be around middle of the pack. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a fun offense. You saw them in the playoffs last year. They were great against Philly. Tremendous against Detroit as well. And yeah, I like the Bucks offense. I think they're going to be solid. Number 17, Indianapolis Colts. There are question marks in the offense. What's Anthony Richardson going to look like? Can Jonathan Taylor stay healthy for the full year? I think he probably could. I do have question marks at receiver outside of Pittman, but then again, they drafted Adonai Mitchell, who I think is really solid. Their offensive line is really great. Quentin Nelson's arguably the best guard in football, and I think Anthony Richardson's primed to take that step. Like that, I think Michael Pittman's really underrated. I think Adonai Mitchell's really solid. They've got a pretty deep wide receiver room. Don't love the tight end, but I think this Colts offense is going to be very fun to watch. It's going to go through Jonathan Taylor, and that's going to open up the passing game even more. I think Anthony Richardson's going to have a really solid year this year. So I think there's some question marks with them, but I think the Colts offense will be really solid. Number 16, Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks' main question mark is the offensive line. Their offensive line last year wasn't great. Don't love either their tackles, and they didn't really address it super early in the draft, if I'm not mistaken. Geno Smith's a very fine quarterback. He's a very fine quarterback. Kenneth Walker's solid. He's a top 12 running back in the NFL. Their wide receiver core has a lot of potential. DK Metcalf is very good. Tyler Lockett, although he's getting older, is still very solid. Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to have a great year. Noah Fant's a nice tight end. Like, Geno Smith kind of represents what the Seattle offense is going to be, right? They're going to be middle of the pack. They'll be solid. They'll have some games where they look really good, and they'll have some games like Week 1 last year where they look really bad. So, Seahawks, fun offense. I have question marks about their offensive line. And last year they were kind of hot and cold. Geno Smith, kind of hot and cold. But I like him. How's the Wi-Fi doing, by the way, guys? 15, Dallas Cowboys. Don't love the moves they made this offseason. Don't hate their running back room. Ezekiel Elliott should not be the running back one on any team in 2024. CeeDee Lamb's a top 5 wide receiver in football. I like that. Okay, cool. Brandon Cooks is a nice wide receiver too, but he's starting to get older. They lost a lot on the offensive line. Still got Zach Martin. Still got Tyler Smith. You drafted Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. So their offensive line has potential in the future with those two guys, but I think the Cowboys offense is taking a step back. They don't have a run game. They'll probably put up really good numbers due to they have some of their passing defenses that they're facing in the NFC East is not going to be good. So they'll put up great numbers, but I think when the Cowboys, when they face an elite defense, their offense normally gets found out. So that's why I have them around middle of the pack. 14th, Chicago Bears. I think the Bears offense will be one of the most fun offenses to watch in the NFL this year. I love Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be really good. I don't love DeAndre Swift. I got to be honest. I think he'll play 4 games before he stubs his toe and is out for half the year. Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson are nice backups, though. They have a top 2 wide receiver core, like 1 through 3 in the NFL. The only one I think you could argue better is the Texans. You got Keenan Allen, who had one of his best career years last year. DJ Moore, who's never had amazing quarterback play and is still putting up terrific numbers. And Rome Odunze, who I was really high on coming out of the draft. Cole Kmet's a nice tight end. Now, I do have question marks on the offensive line outside of Darnell Wright. Don't love the O-line. Don't love the running back. But I think Caleb and these receivers will be good. I think this is going to be fun to watch. I think Caleb and the receivers are going to put up numbers. So I like the Bears offense this year. Number 13, Buffalo Bills. Interesting year for the Buffalo Bills offense. You lose Stephon Diggs, you lose Gabe Davis. That's gonna hurt their offense, but I think as long as you have Josh Allen, your offense is going to be really good. I like James Cook. I don't actually hate the receiving core. Khalil Shakir is nice. Curtis Samuel is a nice player. Keon Coleman, I think, is gonna be really good. Their offensive line's fine. So as long as you give Josh Allen a decent enough supporting cast, I think this Bills offense will be good. And on any day, they could compete with anyone. But losing Diggs and Gabe Davis does definitely hurt. They've been top five. They've been a top five, top six offense in terms of numbers throughout the years. I think they dip a little bit due to the loss of their wide receivers, but I still think that the receivers that they currently have will hold up enough. I think Dalton Kincaid's a really nice tight end. Deion Dawkins a nice left tackle. Like they're going to be a good offense this year. They won't quite be the Bills' offense of recent years, but I think they'll be really good. 12, Atlanta Falcons. I'm excited to watch this Atlanta Falcons offense. I really am. You know, when you have Desmond Ridder as your quarterback, it's hard for any offense to look good, right? But now they've got Kirk Cousins, who say what you want about him. He's light years better than Desmond Ridder. Bijan Robinson, I think, will be a top 5 running back in football this year. I think he's going to look really good. Their interior offensive line is great. Drake London, I think, is primed for a career year. Same with Kyle Pitts. Darnell Mooney's a nice wide receiver too. Like I don't think there's not a lot to not like about this Atlanta Falcons offense. And Kirk Cousins has shown in his career, if you give him enough weapons, his offense is going to be really good, and he's going to put up terrific numbers himself. But I think Tyler Algier is a nice backup running back if Bijan never gets hurt. I like this Atlanta Falcons offense a lot. I think they're going to put up great numbers. They're going to be able to control the clock. They're going to be able to move up and down the field. I think you see breakout years from Bijan, London, and Pitts. I like the Falcons offense a lot this year. Number 11, Green Bay Packers. Packers offense down the stretch last year was really, really elite. I think I think he's a sleeper for MVP this year. Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon, I don't think Josh Jacobs is a massive drop-off from Aaron Jones. Don't love A.J. Dillon, but I love the versatility they have a wide receiver. Jayden Reed's really good. Dobbs, Watson, Wicks. Like, when this offense got going last year, they were really, really good. Their offensive line, I think, is good this year. And I think I like it. I like their personnel. They don't really get a lot of attention, but it was really working for them down the stretch last year. And I think Jordan Love immediately puts that offense pretty high up. Love their receivers. O-line's good enough. I think Josh Jacobs is a good running back. Jordan Love's fantastic. I think the Packers are borderline top 10. I just think the thing that's lacking is maybe that extra superstar that these other teams above them do have. But I think the Packers offense has great potential. Entering the top 10, I have the New York Jets. Surely this is the year the offense puts it together, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 4-time league MVP, Super Bowl champion. We all know the picture there. Breece Hall is going to be top 5 this year. Garrett Wilson's unreal. He hasn't had great quarterback play. Don't love their wide receiver core. Aside from that, Mike Williams always gets hurt, but I love the addition of Malachi Corley. Lazard knows Rodgers well. And they added to that offensive line. They got Tyron Smith and Olu Fashanu. Elijah Vera Tucker's coming back from injury. Morgan Moses is another nice addition. I think the Jets offense with Aaron Rodgers should be really good. He always had great offenses with the Packers, and I think Breece Hall's one of the better. I think it'll look very similar to like the Packers offense when he was there when they had Adams and Aaron Jones. I think Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson will kind of replicate that. I think Garrett Wilson's gonna have a career year, as does Breece Hall. They improved the offensive line. They've got Aaron Rodgers back. This offense is gonna be really, really fun to watch. Number 9, Baltimore Ravens. Similar to like the Bills, that when you have Lamar Jackson in your offense is going to be high flying no matter what. They did lose some key pieces on the offensive line, and I don't love their receiving core similar to Buffalo, but like I said, you've got Lamar Jackson and you do add in Derrick Henry. That read option with him and Lamar is going to be absolutely deadly this year. Zay Flowers is a good wide receiver. Aside from that, Devontae Walker is a nice pick. Nelson Aguilar is all right. Bateman, Love their tight end room. And Ronnie Stanley's a good tackle. I have question marks across the offensive line aside from that. But you have Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry. This offense is going to be one of the best offenses in football. You saw it last year, what they were doing. and you could easily make the case for them to be higher. I just think there's great competition, and I just don't think they quite have the receiving power that some of these other teams have, but you could easily put the Ravens higher. It was tough to rank all these kind of top 10 teams. I think they're all going to be elite this year. Love the Ravens, love Lamar, Derrick Henry. Like, maybe their receivers don't even need to be that great, as we've seen in recent years. Lamar and Derrick Henry should absolutely cook. I like the Ravens' offense this year, even though their offensive line isn't great, which has moved them down a bit. Number 8, the Cincinnati Bengals. History has told us when Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins are playing, this is one of the most explosive offenses in football. I don't think the loss of Joe Mixon will impact this offense that much. I think Zach Moss is fine. I think Chase Brown's a very underrated. All right, see you later, brother. I think Chase Brown's going to be really solid. Their wide receiver 3 does have question marks, but I like Jermaine Burton. Andre Yoshivas has been making noise in camp. I think Mike Gesicki's probably the best tight end that Joe Burrow's ever had. They added to their offensive line. They've added Trent Brown. They added Amarius Mims, who I really like. Their offensive line still kind of has to prove it a little bit, but I think with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, assuming he's going to play, T. Higgins, this is going to be a great, fun offense to watch with Joe Burrow. Like, that's all you need, really. I love the Bengals offense. Very high in the Bengals this year. I think this is going to be Burrow's best year. I think Jamar Chase is an offensive player of the year candidate. Their offensive line still has to show me a little bit more before I put them higher, but love the Bengals this year. 7, I have the Houston Texans. This offense has potential to be a video game offense. You have CJ Stroud, who I think is going to be an MVP candidate this year, without a doubt. Joe Mixon's good. I don't think it's a barn burner of a move, but Joe Mixon's really good. They have the best 1 through 3 receiving core in football. Nico Collins and CJ Stroud already have a great connection. I think Tank Dell is going to go nuts, and you have Stephon Diggs there. Like, if he ends up as a wide receiver 3, that's a damn good wide receiver 3 to have. I know he wasn't great last year, but still, I do find it interesting to see how those 3 will gel, who will get the targets. I do think that could get interesting, and I don't love their offensive line aside from Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason, but, this Houston Texans offense is going to be extremely fun to watch, even if they have flaws. You got CJ Stroud, you got those receivers. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really awesome to watch. I think CJ Stroud, similar to like the Bengals Ravens, you have one of those elite guys, your offense is going to be elite. And I think Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Diggs, like Dalton Schultz is a great tight end. Like their receiving core is so deep. Like Noah Brown's like their 5th wide receiver. I think this Texans team could be higher. I just don't love their run game. I don't think Joe Mixon, I don't think he's the Joe Mixon of like 2021. And their O-line, aside from a couple players, see, bro, I still have slight question marks, but this offense is going to be great. I really think that they could be top 5 by the end of the year. 6, Philadelphia Eagles. Man, oh man, what is not to like about this Eagles offense? I know last year they fell apart, but I think Kellen Moore calling plays will be great for him. I think Jalen Hurts is set to have a bounce back year. You still got a great offensive line, even though you did lose Jason Kelce. Still got some of the best tackles in the NFL. Still have A.J. Brown, who's, in my opinion, a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Devontae Smith's really good. Dallas Goedert's a great tight end, and I think Saquon Barkley being added to this offense just gives them a whole nother dimension. I don't see how you stop this offense. I really don't. I think Jalen Hurts will return to kind of MVP form with Saquon, top 3 running back in the NFL, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, this offensive line. And I think Kellen Moore will be much better than Brian Johnson, I think was their OC last year. Like, they're going to be a fun offense to watch. I think Saquon is going to have an absolute beast of a year behind the offensive line. Love Hurts. Love the offensive line. I like them a lot this year. Entering the top 5, we have the Miami Dolphins. They have a team that allows their quarterback, who I don't think is necessarily top 10, to play at a top 10 level. They have one of the best running back duos in the NFL, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, who I think is going to be amazing this year. Jalen Wright as well. Their running back room is one of the best in football. You have a top 2 wide receiver in football in Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is a constant 1,000-yard guy. I don't think Odell Beckham is Odell Beckham of old, but it's a nice wide receiver 3. Question marks on the offensive line. Don't love the offensive line, but you just like Tyreek Hill, A-Chain, Mostert, Waddle. Like, I think, yeah, like this offense do have question marks over them in cold weather, which you could argue for some teams above them, but the numbers this offense is putting up is insane with those weapons. And Tua plays great in that system, and Terran Armstead's a great left tackle. Jonnu Smith's an art tight end. Like, their offense is going to be video game like for a lot of the year. For Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs having a top 5 offense is just going to be scary, but you have Patrick Mahomes. I think Isaiah Pacheco probably has his best year yet. And you look at the weapons they added, they still have Rashee Rice. Marquise Brown, when he comes back, I think is going to be really good. And Xavier Worthy's already looking nice in preseason. Rashee Rice, like I said. Travis Kelce, still the best tight end in football. Him and Mahomes have an incredible connection. Creed Humphrey's arguably the best center in the NFL between him and Frank Ragnow. I like the Kingsley Suamatia. Not sure if I pronounced his name right. Pick at tackle. I think their offensive line will be better than they are last year. And you give Mahomes these weapons, this offense is going to be, like I said, it's going to be video game-esque. And yeah, man, I think Mahomes, Rice, Worthy, Pacheco, Brown, Kelce, like, it's scary what this offense could potentially become. So I love what the Chiefs are doing. I really do. 3, San Francisco 49ers. Niners offense does have a slight flaw, but I think their offensive line outside of Trent Williams is a question mark. I think they did draft someone. I can't remember, but Niners, their offense puts up tremendous numbers every single year. Brock Purdy, again, don't know if he's necessarily a top 10 quarterback, but he puts up top 10 kinds of numbers in that offense, Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL, and it's not debatable. Elijah Mitchell is a really good running back. Deebo Samuel, I don't rate him too highly as a wide receiver, but I think as a gadget player, he's still great. Brandon Ayuk looks like he's actually going to be returning this year. So he's a 1,300 yard wide receiver. Juwan Jennings is reliable. Ricky Pearsall, if he pans out, he'll be a nice receiver. George Kittle is still a top 3 tight end. Like, they got the best fullback in the NFL. Like, there's not really much to say about the Niners offense aside from their offensive line. I think that's what keeps them from being in the top 2. But this Niners offense is going to be tremendous like it is year in, year out. Number 2, I have the Detroit Lions, top to bottom. This offense looks damn near complete. My only dislike is outside of if St. Brown goes hurt, I question this receiving core. I don't love it. But similarly to like the Dolphins and the Niners, you have a quarterback who might not be top 10 pound for pound, but I think in this offense, he plays like a top 10 quarterback, right? You got Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, arguably the best running back doing football. St. Brown is arguably a top 5 wide receiver. Sam Laporte is great. They got the best O-line. I just think that this offense could easily be won. I was flip-flopping between the top 2. You could easily make the argument that they're number 1. I just think that number 1 offense this year is going to be – well, I'll finish on the Lions first. They got the best O-line of football. Great tight end, great number 1 wide receiver, great quarterback, great running game. Differences, receiver outside of St. Brown, I don't love it. I don't love Jameson Williams. I just don't. I think he has potential, but I need to see it a bit more. And their receiving core isn't super deep outside of St. Brown. That's the only thing I don't really like. But this offense could easily be number 1. It's tough. I genuinely believe the Rams will have the number 1 offense in the NFL because when you look at it last year, the only reason their offense didn't rank higher in terms of stats was because they had injuries. Kyren Williams missed a few games. Cooper Kupp missed a few games. Stafford missed a couple games. When Stafford, Kyren, Kupp, and Puka, that's the core 4, when those guys were healthy, this was the best offense in the NFL by multiple metrics. This is an offense that put up 36 on the Cleveland Browns, 31 on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. When these weapons were healthy, there was nothing stopping this offense. And I think Stafford is still going to have an MVP type season. I think Kyren Williams is going to have another all pro caliber year. And they drafted Blake Corum and added Boston Scott. So they've got much better running back depth if Kyren Williams does go down. Puka Nacua, I think, is a top 10 wide receiver. And reports from training camp are telling us that Cooper Kupp is going to be back to the old Cooper Kupp. I do question marks a little bit at tight end, but I think their offensive line is going to be really good this year. Jonah Jackson's a nice addition. And even if they have some injuries, I love their offensive line depth. I think Alaric Jackson's really good left tackle. Steve Avila, Kevin Dotson. I think this Rams offense is going to be it's going to put up video game like numbers. You saw it last year when all the guys were healthy. I think this is the Rams offense that can play with anybody. And I think that their receiving core, like they got Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington looking really good. Where's the flaw of this offense? Tell me. Like, I really don't think there's any flaw on this offense. I think it's going to be the best offense in the NFL this year, truly. So those are my rankings of every offense in the NFL. There you have it. Well, what do we think, people? Hmm? 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 we were healthy. We just couldn't convert in the red zone. Our offensive line's good. Our offensive line will be top 10 this year. Anakin, hold on. Anakin, relax. I put the Lions top 2, guys. Come on. I had them 2. Jeez. Fortunately, I'm not. You can flip the top 2. I had them at number 2. And it's not a crazy take. You might miss a game. But trust me, when all these weapons are healthy, trust me. Might be a little biased, but yeah. I understand it, but I put them at 2. If I put them out of the top, if I put them out of the top 5, then yeah, I can understand you guys being annoyed. Yeah. And he still plays great. I might be a little biased, you know? And I answered it. This offensive line depth, I know the Rams a lot more than other people. So, but their offensive line depth's really good this year. So even if Jonah misses the game, I'm not too worried. And this offense was great against the Lions. McVay's play calling in the red zone really messed us up. Yeah, I'll put up top 10. Again, like I keep saying, you can flip-flop teams. But Rams, Lions, Niners, this is the top 8, and then Ravens, Jets. Ravens, Jets are the other 2. Thank you, Xavier. Like I said, Lions could easily be 1. I had the Lions at 1. It was tough because your guys' offensive line, I just think Stafford's a better quarterback. I think we have better receivers. I think Kyren Williams is the best running back out of the bunch. Not by much, but it's close. Don't get me wrong, man. Your offense is great. I had you too. You could argue KC just because of Mahomes. You're good. It's fine. I know you got anger issues. Appreciate it. I genuinely think it, man. I think, and from what we've been hearing about Cooper Kupp, Cooper Kupp's going to be old Cooper Kupp this year by the, looks of it. Tight end, O-line, definitively you guys. Quarterback, wide receivers is definitively us. Running game, I think, will produce at similar levels. Yeah, I just need to see it from JMO. I need to see it week in, week out. Like, the Rams have the much deeper Anakin. Anakin has anger issues. I think the Rams' wide receiving core is a lot deeper. And I think their offensive line will be good. Their offensive line is underrated. But, hey, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. This is why I'm doing this. Because if I get wrong, I can get called out for it, and it's great. When all four of those guys, Stafford, Kupp, Puka, Kyron, when those guys were healthy, this offense was cooking with the best of them. And I know it was a small sample size, but, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great this year. Yeah, it's just offense, brother. Appreciate you tuning in. I understand they still move the ball up and down the field, and your guys' run defense was able to limit Kyron a bit. But let's not remember, the Lions only scored 24. Like, they scored one more point against a bad secondary as well last year. So it's not like the Lions put up 30 plus on the Rams. Like, the Lions struggled in the second half as well. Let's not forget that. That's funny. I might be wrong, but I truly believe in this offense. I think people are sleeping on it. I think they're the best. I really do, man. When you think of the potential that it could be, it's just because we'll see. Just because they have the best offense doesn't mean they're going to the Super Bowl. We'll chill out. We'll figure out the Super Bowl pick. I still haven't picked that. I'm flip flopping between a few teams. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. That's fair. We limited your points as well. So I think you could say that for both teams in that playoff game. No excuses. Just telling you what it was. Like I said, you could argue either way. The Lions probably easily could be number one. I was flip-flopping between a few teams. I went Rams because quarterback play. I think they'll have the best wide receiver duo in football this year, and I think Kyren Williams is extremely underrated. I think their offensive line got better. This offense is better than it was when they were putting up 31, 36, just cooking everybody. And they would have probably put up a ton more points against the Lions if we just didn't mess up in the red zone, Yeah. I could see that. I love that. Like I said, don't get too offended by, like, the specific rankings. You can flip-flop them as much as you want. What else should we talk about? I'm not gonna lie, my Heisman candidates were the exact same four as Lucas. I think Dylan Gabriel probably wins. Jackson Dart, I love. I think he's gonna have a great year with those receivers. Cameron Ward's a dog, and Carson Beck's on Georgia, so I agree with Lucas on that. Anything else you didn't like about the list? I'm sticking, man. You'd be number one. You'd be number one. JMO was playing as the same level as St. Brown? Yeah. Yeah. It's not just bias. I think they're the best. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's not just bias. I know this offense in and out. Can argue either way. I had you guys at number 2. Relax. Top 2 offense in football. You guys still aren't happy. God damn it. Keep the receipts all day. Yes, bro. It was cooking last year when those guys were healthy. They do have a if healthy asterisk, but so does every team. I'm telling you, man, they're gonna cook. They're gonna cook. I'm telling you, they're gonna cook. And yes, I am slightly biased. You can't get mad at me for being biased. Wait, let's not act as if you guys aren't biased as well. I mean, come on. Quarterback, Rams. I think Kyren Williams is the best running back out of the bunch. I think they'll both run for a similar amount of yards. You could say your guys' running back duo is better. Wide receiver, it's Rams. Tight end, Lions. O-line, Lions. So they're about the same. They're around the same. I think quarterback advantage is what gives it. That's what gives it to the Rams. They both do different things better than each other. It's close. It is. It really is, Chef Guy. I might do the best receiving cores tomorrow. And the Rams will be one there as well. No, I'm kidding. Goff is more durable, for sure. Even old Cooper Kupp. I need to see more. I need to see J-Mo do it consistently, guys. I need to see him do it consistently. Like, if you look at wide receiver twos in the NFL, like, even on that top 10 list, J-Mo's one of the worst. And that's not because it's not that he can't get better, but I just that's fair. I don't disagree. I agree with all the positive things you say about the Lions offense. I really do. But I think the Rams' offensive line depth is just as good. I think they'll be able to run the ball better if Kyren goes down with Blake Corum. Their receiving core is deep as hell. See you later, Anakin. And I like the tight end room. Davis Allen's a nice pass-catching tight end, and Colby Parkinson's a good running back. Or running back. Run-blocking tight end. It depends. If it's depth, yes. But it's tough. I don't know what I would do with it. It's the receiving core depth. That's my only problem with this Lions offense. I just need to see more. If I see more, I'll put him one. It wouldn't shock me if I put him one. Like halfway through the year. Trying to think of what we could talk about for a little bit. I might. Not every show is gonna be an hour and a half. I realize an hour and a half is a bit much for me, so we might wrap it up soon. Might do like an hour some days. 9th. Could have moved up. If he is, good for him. I put him 2. I put the Lions 2. Plus, I think the Rams can play in the cold better. No, it's not huge, but not like fantasy. I might set up a fantasy draft with some of the people here. I'll see what I can do. Oh wait, oh mock draft. Oh, I get it. Yeah, probably. What do you mean? He has the intangibles, yes. We'll continue this discussion. This is healthy. Okay, cool. Awesome. And we're still fighting over who's wide receiver 3 on the Lions. You know? Like, I think obviously if Stafford or Goff go down, that's trouble. But I think if Kyren goes down, Corum will fill in fine. Same with the Lions running backs. I think if either offensive lineman goes down for a little bit, I think both offensive lines have depth. I think if Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp get hurt, the receiving core will still be good. If St. Brown gets hurt, I have concerns. And you could say Sam Laporta as well. Like St. Brown and Laporta are on a similar level to Puka and Kupp for sure. I just think this offense is going to be unstoppable this year, man. And I think there's a quarterback difference between Stafford and Goff. No, I haven't been old enough to bet. I'm 18 now. Is that how old do you have to be to bet? To bet on DraftKings. 18. Oh, hell yeah. I don't have that much money, so I'm gonna chill on betting this year. I need to build. I need to get more money. I don't want to be broke. I already am. We'll continue this discussion for a little bit. We'll probably end it like 10, 15 minutes. I'm not gonna do an hour and a half every day. I've realized that was a bit too much for me. Dan Skipper, he's reporting eligible. No, was that Decker? I can't remember. I can't believe I put the Lions offense 2 and they were still so I still got heat. That's funny. 12 people in here. Appreciate you guys. All right, we'll do mailbag for 10 minutes, then we'll wrap it up. About what, my list? What, did I put the Lions 2? Yes, I'm going to Rams-Niners week 3. So if there's more Niners fans, don't blame me. I'm going to Rams-Niners this year. It should be fun. Week 3. God damn it. I really thought putting the Lions 2 was... I thought that was fair. Man, can't believe that. I put you guys 2. Truth. Yeah, why not? You got Dan Campbell's sheer power. You got McVay's speed. We'll do a 10-minute mailbag. Then we'll get you guys out of here. Since Anakin's not here, should I reveal who it is or no? Because I managed to figure it out. Because I went back to like a previous chat and I saw the red dot on it, but it was someone else. It was a different. The account was a different name at the time. But now it shows up as the red dot. So I know who it is. I feel like I should keep it a secret. I know who it is, and it's hilarious. Yeah, they're both gone. I don't know if I should tell you guys. I feel like I should keep it a secret so the word doesn't spread. I feel like we need to fuck with Anakin as much. Yeah, I won't tell you guys. I can't tell which one of you guys. I think that's... Yeah, that's red dot. Okay. This is great. This is funny. By the way, guys, I might be adjusting my schedule a little bit. This might not be an everyday thing for now because I'm struggling to come up with topics. I might take a day off every once in a while. Just so you know. It's been kind of stressing me out. Quarterback depth. Hendon Hooker looking nice out there, man. Better than Stetson Bennett. Jesus. All right, any more mailbag people? We'll go to quarter past, and then we'll wrap it up. That's a good topic. I don't know these shows have my nose curved. Jeez. Yeah, it'll be much easier. It's tough right now. It is tough. When the season starts, I'll have stuff planned. I'm gonna have some guests on. I might ask Klotzy or Jeff or one of the dudes in there if they want to do like a weekly segment, like on like a Wednesday or a Friday. Who do you like in college this weekend? Who's playing? It's Florida State, right? Florida State against was it Georgia Tech? Yeah, what are all the games? Florida State will probably win. Can't believe they call it week 0. Montana State, New Mexico, who cares? SMU against Nevada. Man, I'm just glad to have football back. This is the first taste of football. Yeah, the season will be fun. Season will be fun. Probably Florida State. I mean, I think Miami are making the playoff this year, dude. I think they could easily be like a top 5-16 by the end of the year with their schedule. Cameron Ward, Heisman Trophy season. Jackson Dart. We'll do 5 more minutes. What do you guys want to chat about for 5 minutes? Who do you think's gonna win the Natty? I think they squeak it out. I'll reveal my score prediction, but I think they squeak it out. I think they get revenge. Maybe not full revenge, but I think they get it done. If not, it'll be quite rough the following week for me. Might have to block the chat. I need to expand my audience so it's not just Lions. Georgia, yeah. I want Oregon to win because I sent an application there and they accepted me. I'm just not going right now because I don't know if college is for me, but I have a bit of a connection to them that way. Got some Oregon gear, so I'm hoping Oregon get it done. Dylan Gabriel, Heisman Trophy season. 5 more minutes, then we'll wrap it up, mate. Anybody watch the Premier League last weekend? It was good. Could see it because they kind of fucked it over last year in the playoff, right? Shout out to the 10 of you still here. We'll wrap this up in a few minutes. Just let you guys ask a few more questions if you want. Damn, pardon my take. Got Caleb Williams on. God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, World Cup's fire. I only pay attention to a couple leagues. I like it. This is fucked, man. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. You guys are douchebags. 2 more minutes, then we'll head out. Nope. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you, Derek. Appreciate you, Xavier. All you guys. You guys are G's. All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in to episode 6 of the Bottom Line Pod. Fun show. You guys are awesome. You guys' support means a lot. I will maybe see you tomorrow. I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking a couple things, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad I was able to piss you guys off today. That was fun. Put the Lions too. All right. That was fun. See you later. Appreciate you guys. Deuces.